Here's a knife that has a lot more going on with it that meets the eye. So first, let's just talk about the knife and what it is. So this is a Cripple Creek dog leg trapper. Now, Cripple Creek was originally handmade knives made by a gentleman by the name of Bob Cargill. And in 1993, he had, I guess, sold the rights to the Cripple Creek name to Blackjack Knife Company. And from 1993 to 1995, Blackjack Knife Company made Cripple Creek knives. But the story was that Bob Cargill still oversaw it, but I don't really know what was going on there. So we'll go ahead and look at the tank stamp here. So this one right here says Cripple Creek, Effingham, Illinois, USA. And that's a Blackjack knife, 93 to 95. So the squeaky chair. So the got to get that way out there to get that knife in the frame there. So the Bob Cargill knives were Old Fort, Tennessee, I believe. Pretty cool looking pattern, this dog leg trapper. That was what Blackjack termed as their strawberry bone. Now, it used to be darker than that. They kind of faded out and turned pink, which is kind of a bummer, but still a cool looking knife nonetheless. That was trying to be pay tribute to the Robeson strawberry bone, but the color just didn't stay. So probably a different dye process. I still don't have the tip of that knife in the photo there. There we go. So anyways, this knife at one point in my life, I was making handmade knives, and I had decided to use this. This is it because this is a cool pattern, right? I'll go ahead and open it up all the way. That dogleg trapper is a pretty cool looking knife. I had decided to take this thing apart and use this as a pattern, and I was going to make my own handmade knives, and I was going to make it into a lockback. At some point, I decided that I wasn't going to do it. It just didn't have enough blade to handle ratio. It's got a big old handle and a kind of a short blade. I mean, if we want to measure that real quick, I don't really like making long videos here, but so the handle length on this is about 4.5 inches, and the blade length on that is about 3 to the top of the bolster, about 3, probably 3, and I don't know, man. I'm gonna call that 3 1/4. So yeah, I decided against it, but initially this thing didn't have the best fit. That's one thing. If you're gonna take a knife apart and use it as a pattern to make a handmade knife, you got to make sure that that knife is accurate and functions perfectly, or else if you use a wonky knife as a pattern, every knife you make from that pattern is gonna be wonky in itself. So, I had to do quite a bit of work to this. I mean, the first thing I had to do was, well, the blade wasn't centered in it, but that's easy enough to fix. So I got that fixed. But the back of it, the fit and finish was kind of bad on the back. It's nice and tight now, but the main problem was the blade was kind of sitting wonky in that thing. The attitude was angled really down, so I had to file the back square of the tang to get that thing sitting in there right. And it's a pretty tight knife now, man. That thing is really, really nice. It used to have an etch on it, but I wound up refinishing it, the blade. I did a fine satin finish on that, and so the etch disappeared on it, but really cool pattern knife. I can only imagine what Bob Cargill's handmade ones must have been like, you know, where do you see a pattern like this? Dogleg trapper. Snaps like a trap too. Now it does. So yeah, pretty interesting knife. I just wish that strawberry bone was still strawberry in color and not, you know, pinkish. But I kind of like the variation where it gets dark and light, and, you know, it's just still a cool knife. So, Cripple Creek, Effingham, Illinois by Blackjack.